So the mind says, I should be further ahead. But why does it feel like it should be further ahead? And it's because it's doing that because it's constantly in comparison. And why is it constantly in comparison? Right? Because the nature of the mind is like this self-seeking missile. The self-seeking mind is always in comparison. It's always trying to gain ground. So it's always going to be saying, oh, I should be further ahead. I should have done more. I should be more. I should have gained more ground by now. It's judging. The nature of it is it judges itself. Because it fundamentally, you see, because fundamentally it feels like it's not enough. So because it feels like it's not enough, it feels like it should be more. It's like written into the nature of it. I'm not enough. I need to become more. I should be further ahead by now. I feel like I should be further ahead by now, it says. Really? Why? Well, because I'm not enough. And by now, I should be enough. But there is no becoming enough, because the self-seeking mind can't fulfill itself from its becomings. There is no becoming enough. Because it doesn't matter what you achieve, what you do, who says you're good, who says you aren't good. None of that matters. You won't find fulfillment there. So therefore, the nature of the self-seeking mind is to self-seek constantly. It never lets up. It never stops self-seeking. So then you go, well, I'm doomed then. How do I get to that place of feeling like I'm enough? It's a logical question to ask. And the answer is, from the inside, you can't. Meaning, if you can't answer it from the inside of the self-seeking mind, because you already are enough, but you just don't realize it yet. Because you don't realize yourself yet. Because you're completely identified with your own thinking. You're completely identified with who you think you are. And that whole framework of who you think you are is built on the self-seeking mind. That starts to sound complicated, but it's not. It's really simple. In the sense that the nature of the self-seeking mind is always looking to become more, and it's trying to fulfill itself through that becoming. But there's no fulfillment there. Doesn't matter what you achieve either. You know, you can see that in life. Those who have most, at times can be completely miserable. Doesn't mean you'll be miserable by having stuff or achieving lots. You know, you can have movie stars and all of these people, totally miserable. Because having and being somebody in the eyes of the world doesn't bring fulfillment. The self-seeking mind, the egoic mind will say, oh, there's someone. So, they've made it. No. Ask them. You see it. You see it's wrote all over it. There's no relief there. So where is the relief? The relief lies in seeing the self-seeking mind for what it is. To see who you think you are for what it is. So to realize yourself, in realizing yourself and realizing your own presence, you realize that this whole thing is thought. The whole structure, the thought itself, is all based on the nature of the egoic mind, the self-seeking mind. But as you see that, and then you know your own presence, in knowing your own presence, you sense the fulfillment of your own nature, your true nature. It's full. It's full and it's joyful in itself, not because of something. It's joyful in life. It's joyful for life. Life is joyful. And not because of becoming something. It sees that for what it is, and then in the presence of itself, it's full. So it's like this bit covers it over. It's like you're so identified and caught up in the mind, you're not able to realize your own fullness and joy. That's it. That's it. So it's to free yourself from that. It's basically the job number one, free yourself from being completely caught up in who you think you are. Lost in that, caught up and lost in that. Job number one. And the cool thing is, that progression, that realization, that awakening, and they start to sound, all like those sorts of words, but you know what I mean, spiritual type words, which is the true meaning of spirituality and so on, is self-realization, awakening, enlightenment, yeah. But is that that's natural. That's naturally what happens. You naturally awaken, and the suffering generates that. The suffering pushes you to awaken. It makes you look at it, the sheer wretchedness of it, the emptiness of it, the dullness of it, in the end drives you to see it for what it is, and drives you to look at it, and then in the looking you see it for what it is. It breaks the spell as such. It breaks you from being completely lost in it. So how do you do that? What steps can you take? Listen to people who have had a certain amount of self-realization. That works. Bring moments of breaking, being lost in the head, so you bring your attention to yourself. bring your awareness to your own presence. If you can do that, maybe that's too much of a jump and a go, but then you can just focus on your breath. Not a special breath, doesn't have to be some sort of special breath, but just, you can do that, focus on the breath. I made this the presence stone just by touching the stone, the sensation, bringing your attention to the sensation, look out of your eyes. So you're using sensory touch, look, to bring you out of your own thinking. Just listen sometimes. Someone's speaking, you listen. Listen with all that you've got. And in that listening, you become the presence itself, which is listening. Not they speak, you think about what they're saying. No, you just listen. You just be the listening itself. And you'll have your own personal hang-ups, those ones which are yours particularly, you know, whatever that is, whatever your personal hurts are, which, you know, you've carried around because that's part of your story, who you think you are, which is thought, the whole thought structure, but it keeps you connected to it. Because obviously those hurts are things which should never have happened. It's the injustice of it, the hurt of it, that hurt me, forms the basis of the story. Of who you think you are, right? Ties in with all of it. And that's it. You bring your awareness to your own presence and you build a practice of keep bringing your awareness to that. And as you build that up, a little gap opens up between you and your thinking. I see it like a bubble. You're inside the bubble, and then the bubble becomes more transparent. And then slowly but surely, you're no longer completely inside the bubble anymore. And in that, you see it for what it is. And in that scene is liberation, freedom. That's that. And you start to build that into your daily practice, being present, giving yourself moments of presence. So rather than running to escape, scrolling, drinking, watching TV, whatever it is, I don't know, there's lots and lots of different ways you can escape, but whatever yours is, you exchange that for presence. And that's how you start to bring about the gap, which brings about the realization. Okay, good.